If it wasn't amazing enough, Akudama Drive had to give a killer opening song and groovy ending song just to tie it all together. And I think I can speak for probably a lot of us. We're trying to hold off on saying, this could be anime of the season because we're only a couple of weeks in, but I think there's going to be a few of us, myself included, really wanting to scream that this might be our anime of the season even by the time we reach the ending. This series oozes quality and style. I love neon cyberpunk style aesthetics, and visually alone, this anime sells me. I'm like, you can do whatever you want and I'm gonna be entertained just for the visual spectacle alone. But the whole dynamic with these group of criminals, especially in this episode between Brawler and Hoodlum, the relationship dynamics is incredible. You got Swindler and Cutthroat relationship kind of growing, where she's really not interested, but he's a cutthroat, so she can't really say, get the hell away from me, without possibly getting killed, and I guess it's probably better to have a serial killer wanting to love you than hate you, because at least you're probably not gonna die unless he's a little bit of a yandere, which he could be. Brawler and we got Hoodlum just kind of having this bromance because Brawler is a big tough guy, wants to fight. And oh my god, he just takes everything at face value. He's not the sharpest tool in this shed, he definitely thinks with his fist. So if Hoodlum's saying he's a badass criminal, he's gonna believe that's my bro for you, and I'm like, this show, thank you. Courier's just kind of doing it for the money at this point, seems like. Doctor wants to get some dick, it feels like. I mean, she's willing to sell her body for a cigarette, so I mean, you know where her priorities are. It just feels like, from the hacker to everything, it just feels like this group is a bunch of misfits who all have a talent for this grand billion-dollar mission. I think it's very easy to have criminal-like stories and an ordinary person thrown into the mix and have it be very frightening, and while that logically is how it should be if you're these hardened criminals who kill and steal and plunge in, I mean, we see graphic imagery in this episode, yet it's not brutal in terms of the general dialogue. It's actually fairly normal and tame, you think, is a group of school students. And while that definitely isn't realistic, at the end of the day, it provides one of the more unique and refreshing cast dynamics I've seen in the past year. When you have literally a robot cat that is claimed to be Black Cat in terms of the name, and it's saying, hey, you know what, you passed the first mission, everyone gets $100 million, go ahead, have fun with that. But everyone's going to get $1 billion if you're able to do phase 2, which no one has ever been able to do. There just hasn't been a show with such boldness in terms of its narrative that I've seen in a long time. This is a show that is full throttle, going well past the speed limit the entire way through. This anime doesn't slow down. It is non-stop pedal to the metal. And when it does slow down seemingly, where they're just kind of sitting around talking, they're dropping some pretty heavy content on us, and then a wall will explode and assassins will come in to try to take you out. It's amazing to see how little they care about saying, yeah, this is where you're supposed to take a lot of these things seriously. No, this is a bunch of insane lunatics and an ordinary person getting roped into $1 billion mission that they don't even know what they're doing, they just want the moolah, and you're gonna see some insanity. And that's what it says it's gonna be. It doesn't try to sugarcoat it, doesn't try to hide it. It just says these are a bunch of criminal lunatics and you should expect some weird things to happen, which is why I think we got the whole Cutthroat really wanting to make our girl his, and I'm just like, you know what? Whatever happens at this point. You can't really say no to Cutthroat because he literally will cut your throat off. And I'm just like, where do you even go with that? I love this episode even more than the first, and the first already debuted with such octane, just really gripping everyone, being like, holy shit. I mean, we knew it was coming from the Danganronpa creator, but at the end of the day, I don't think any of us expected it would be that fun and just bold. And I mean, it would be very easy for the aesthetic to wear off because usually the first episode, the last episodes are really the most refined episodes to start with a bang and end with a bang. But honestly, the quality remained. The technological side to this show and just how it's ingrained to their city is beautiful to look at and see how everything is just futuristic. And while the idea of technology being a part of everything in our day-to-day life is a frightening and amazing idea, on one hand it could make things a lot easier and just a lot more fluid. On the other hand, we could lose our touch of humanity. This show just makes you feel like minus the criminal aspect, you want to at least interact with this city for a little bit. They even were able to give a history lesson of the divided portions of the city, the criminal side, the middle class side, and the rich side, by using these puppets. And I'm like, that's such an intelligent way to give lore in such a childlike manner to teach the children, but you're also teaching the viewers how things are happening in such a nonchalant way that didn't feel like info dumping. It just felt like it was such a funny and cute aesthetic that you were really gripped, and in doing so, we're also teaching the viewer about the history of this city. And I love the idea of Swindler because she literally is a ordinary person, and everyone who meets her assumes you're not on the database. You must be really, really insane. And when you get Hoodlum hyping her up to be like $1 trillion bounty, I feel bad for her because she really has no skill. If these people really try to kill her, she's gonna die. And I feel like the luck side is gonna be her, honestly, her greatest luck, because there's going to be a lot of bad luck that she'll trip or something, and then in doing so, she'll probably throw someone out a window and it'll be a kill, and everyone's probably going to be like, oh my god, she's the most ruthless of them all. The only one who I think probably won't buy into the bullshit is most likely... Well, actually, the only ones who probably would buy into the bullshit would be Hoodlum and Brawler. The others probably will have their suspicions. But it's nice that they just really don't care. If they're all getting paid the same, it doesn't matter. They don't have to try to one-up each other like they did in the first episode. So it just provides this really interesting teamwork is dreamwork style. And I'm like, this shouldn't work on paper, but goddamn is Akudama Drive just hitting it out of the park. I love shows that try to be creative in more than one way. And visually alone, they're already being creative with its aesthetic and, you know, it feels cyberpunk soundtrack. I mean, that opening song is pure like from a cyberpunk soundtrack, and then the ending song is just like, oh my god, that's like a good way to ease off on the episode of insanity. But it just feels to me that the story and character dynamic is also very fresh and exciting. The idea of just a bunch of criminals and a seemingly ordinary person kind of mingling, and it not being like you're sweating too many bullets. Like when you are sweating, you probably know they're going to be okay. I mean, when a doctor gets her throat slit, she can repair herself. When Brawler gets tossed out a window, he's made of steel, he's probably going to be okay. There's only one character we probably really have to worry if they're going to get killed right now, and that's obviously Swindler. But it feels like luck is on her side so far, and I mean, if the Black Cat's saying you have skills that I need, even though you weren't originally part of the plan, go ahead. Same with Hoodlum. So it's going to be interesting to see how they are going to incorporate themselves, because you can see where the talents of the other ones lie with hacking, or, you know, a motorcycle on command that can literally just blast people out a window, bones of steel, you know, just a lot of things that are very, very handy. But at the end of the day, it feels like this is a very calculated mission, and in doing so, you get the wildest and wackiest points of personalities. It feels like these characters grew up in a criminal lifestyle, not as like they tried to be evil, but they're just so ingrained in this lifestyle that they don't see what they're doing as wrong, and they act like a normal person. It's just their seemingly normal persona can switch and they can kill while laughing doing so. It's psychotic, it's insanity, but it's honestly really, really fun. This show doesn't take itself too seriously either, so it allows for a lot of the absurdity to just really feel charming, not like it's off-putting like, oh, these are supposed to be hardened criminals who were 100 million years in the slammer, and how are they acting like a little child? But they're not supposed to be taken seriously. They're just supposed to say they have a certain skill, and that's why they're so deadly, and that makes it just such an intriguing premise. I was also told last week that apparently the reason that everyone has a code name and not a real name is that the code names were in place as a placeholder, but the staff behind this project loved the code name so much that they said don't give them real names, just keep it like this. And I'm like, honestly, it does give it a charm that if they had like a normal, oh, this is Samantha, this is George, this is whatever, right? It just wouldn't feel as ridiculous as it is, and that ridiculousness is its biggest strength because it allows for it to have so much fun while having a really intriguing premise. I mean, billion-dollar mission, cutthroats, brawlers, hackers, swindlers, like you can't help but love this. And the biggest compliment I can give this episode is they made the cat a robot. Thank you for not going supernatural. I love the technological side of the show. Keep it that way. And holy shit, am I ready for episode 3. Thoughts and opinions down below. Love it, hate it, favorite moment, whatever you're feeling. Of course, let me know. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, share your support, hit that subscribe button if you happen to be new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.